Whatever. You just let me know. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. You know me. Okay, no, you don't, but you know who I am. I'm Issa J. And alongside me is.
You're a Small Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion at Picking Things, Liam Landry.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and we are here for Shooting with the Smarky Family, episode 41. We are really close to 50 already.
Almost at that midlife crisis.
Almost. Not there yet.
We're also at the same time going to be watching last night's G1 special. He had work and I didn't have access. I watched it already, but I'm kind of rewatching with him. But that's why we didn't have any type of live stream or anything with it.
Yeah.
And we're getting some young lions from the LA dojo, so it's good to see some other ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's always interesting to look back at young lions and see who you've seen. Like we were talking before the podcast about the countdown show on the YouTube channel that goes back, and on the Chaos episode, I saw like Okada, or maybe it was Nakamura, like being helped to the back by Yo. And then another one, you see a little show, and
That's cool.
It's like it's great to see the how they come around.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're here. We're about to get started. But before we get started, how was your week, good sir?
It was pretty good. I had that day off for 4th of July, so
That's nice.
Yeah. How about yours?
Oh, it was in between busy and relaxing. And when I was at work, it was really busy because of 4th of July. However, we were able to what were we able to do? I was able to start a new show. It's not new. It's already off of Sci-Fi, but Z Nation. And it's a weird show. I'm trying to see if I actually like it. First episode is hard to swallow a bit until you realize they're not taking anything seriously in this show. And then nothing else really happened after that. But yeah, I know you also got to see a movie recently.
The new Spider-Man, yes, I did see that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I need to see it myself. But
also, you have to see some good wrestling. Which if you have to see some of the good ones, today, right now.
Yeah, but before we fully get started, because I just remembered, we were supposed to watch the pre-show on our own time. You and I watched the tag match together, three-way tag match, and
This was for
Fighter Fest, yes. Were you able to see the other two?
I did not see the one with Michael Nakazawa.
Okay, I did, and I also watched a lot of reviews, and it was very divisive. Either people hated it or they enjoyed it and was laughing at it. Usually the wrestlers or the people who have been in wrestling training and stuff were minus Brian Zane were loving it. Caljack from Steve Larson's he said he really enjoyed it, and Simon Miller said he enjoyed it, so that was interesting to see.
To be fair, Simon Miller seems to enjoy a lot of things.
True, very true. I personally thought it was funny, a lot of the spots they did.
Yes, that's a pretty big move there too, replacing Lawson permanently with Caljack.
But then so I was okay with it. And did you see the women's match?
Yeah, I saw the women's match. I thought it was it was kind of just a pretty standard match, but I think Allie looked really good in it. Her
She
moves
was
looked real
really
sharp.
intense.
Yeah, I liked her sliding elbow into the corner.
I did
that
too.
looked really brutal.
For me, at first it had a lot of good comedy, and stuff, and holding the finger, but then halfway through the match it just got really slow and a little bit sloppy, and I was just like, that's unfortunate, but picked up towards the end, and I like the part where Peter Avalon, that's his name, throws the book way too far, and that causes Ali to get the BSE onto Leva Bates for the win. So that was really cool too. But yeah, I can see if you're not that was impressive.
That was Sonata.
He changed his hair.
Yeah, they changed it a while back. I think I'd said that you probably wouldn't like it as much since it's not as animated as it was when it was sticking all the way up. But no, like I said, this was my favorite match of the night.
That was impressive right there.
Yeah, that's what the whole match is. It's impressive grapple work and counters and stuff.
But yeah, anyways, let's get on straight onto the show. We apologize if we get a little bit distracted.
They had a funny heel moment in his press conference afterwards where he said trying to do a technical match in front of Americans is like doing Shakespeare in front of dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing, some people don't think that he has personality.
That was funny.
Yeah. But yeah, we get right into our first segment, news outside the WWE.
Yes.
Which is all wrestling news that is not inside the WWE's little bubble.
Yes, exactly. First thing we're going to talk about, Impact is having their, they're having a pay-per-view tonight. It is their Slammiversary 2019.
Normally recognized as one of their major ones historically. That is their 15th one. It's actually also going to be in Dallas, Texas, and it's tonight. So I think that actually be good for them. You can get maybe get some people to stick around from the New Japan.
Yeah.
When you're coming from out of town, so it's a good idea from them. So I'm going to go over their matches. First off, we have a singles match for the Impact World Championship, which is Brian Cage champion versus Michael Elgin. Then we have a singles match for the Impact X Division Championship, which is Rick Swann, the champion, versus Johnny Impact. Then we have a singles match between Moose and Rob Van Dam. A four-way Monsters Ball match, which is a kind of four-way hardcore match for Impact for the Knockout Championship between Ty Valkyrie, the champion, versus Rosemary, Sue Young, and Jessica Havoc. Then we have a three-way tag team match for the Impact Tag Team Championship. That's the North, a team represented by Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, who are the champions, the tag team champions right now, versus LAX, represented by Ortiz and Santana, of course coming in with Conan, versus the Rascals, Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz, accompanied by Trey Miguel. Then we have an intergender match between Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard, and then a first blood match between Eddie Edwards and Killer Cross.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a pretty good card, I think. But yeah, we haven't watched a lot of Impact recently, and we won't be able to get and watch this show. But it looks like it's a pretty stacked card. Hopefully we'll be able to watch it along one of these days, maybe. But what do you think about the card, and what do you think has the potential of being match of the night?
Sounds like a good card. Like maybe the championship match or the X Division match. Some good ones. Maybe stuff in that tag team matchup. But should be a pretty good card. I think to do well with their pay-per-views. We haven't seen them in a while, but I'm sure they keep up the standard.
Yeah, I think Johnny Impact versus Rich Swann would be a really good one, and the intergender match seems like it'll be an interesting one as well. Tessa Blanchard, not unknown for that sort of thing, because I'm pretty sure she had a couple of those types of matches in Wrestling Circus. And I think Brian Cage, I'm glad he's back and he's healed up. Him having a match against Michael Elgin, that would probably be a good match too. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to watch this one, but hopefully we'll be able to buy it and see it along one of these days.
It's not live streamed.
Yeah, at least not live streaming it. I'm pretty sure we will be able to live stream Extreme Rules next week, so that should be interesting. But yeah, Slammiversary is tonight. If you have the opportunity, go to fight.tv and check it out. It's FITE.tv. Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Extreme Rules is completely equal trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess to be fair, they've done better with their pay-per-views this year, so I don't know if it'll be as good, but
yeah, hopefully it ends strong as well.
Instead of last time where it ended really weak.
Mm-hmm. These men the way they move is just crazy.
Sonata versus Axie Regime.
Exactly. Alright, let's move on to the next piece of news. Resident MLW expert here, Liam Landry, was informed, and I also have found out that they are finally going to be doing their own pay-per-view. It's going to happen on November 2nd, I said?
Yes.
Yeah, November 2nd. And it's going to be called Saturday. I already forgot. Dang it. Yeah, let me pull this up.
Was it Saturday Night Fight or something like that?
Yes. Saturday Night Super Fight.
Saturday Night Super Fight.
Yes, and that's really big for MLW, especially since they're a YouTube only kind of show.
Well, they are also on Being Sports.
Oh, okay.
They've been in there for a while.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really cool that they're able to continually grow. I mean, they've had really great wrestlers on their show already, like the Lucha Brothers as the MLW Tag Team Champions, or Low Key and was it not? It was one of the Hart Foundations is the champion right now, right?
The Hart Foundation's Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. Who ended up beating Low Key?
Filthy Tom Lawler.
Okay, Filthy Tom Lawler. And yeah, it's just a lot of great wrestlers on the show, and it's really cool to see that they are able to continue on, even with AEW, Impact, and others happening. And not only that, but have enough revenue to have their own pay-per-view, which is really cool. And a lot of times pay-per-views, they're pretty expensive, especially out in the world. But luckily here, it's only going to be $19.95, like $20 for a pay-per-view. That's a really good deal, and you can bet they're going to have really good wrestling there. I've seen a couple of matches that you've shown me already, and I should go out of my way to watch more. But yeah, I think this is a really good thing for that company and for wrestling fans in general. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's very good for them. They really came out of, I won't say nowhere, but they were there a while back, and then they went out of business. Then whoever started up again had a lot of money backing them. So they really like skyrocketed out of nowhere. I mean, they just kind of went everyone started putting on really professional shows on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
them getting the beIN Sports contract and everything. So they're a very fast moving company.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a very good thing for him and in wrestling as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
For having more companies that can people can find work at.
Mm-hmm. And then also, what are your thoughts on the price of the pay-per-view?
I think it's a very fair price.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't think they said anything about the card yet. That's too far down the line.
Yeah, so far as it stands, there is no card.
Mm-hmm.
However, which is interesting, the former Rev Pro champion, Timothy Thatcher, will be making his debut pretty soon, July 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be really, really cool as well.
That's been a while that he was a Rev Pro champion.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was heavyweight champion.
Was that Evolve?
And,
I forgot what.
well, I'm just saying that because it seems like
yeah.
it's been so dominated by New Japan.
Right.
It's like, I don't. Well, what was it, like Zack Sabre Jr. for the longest? Then it went to the guy who went to WWE NXT. Time Splitter, Kushida.
Okay.
They went to Kushida. Then Kushida went back to Zack Sabre Jr. Then to Ishii, and it's like so. It's been pretty dominated by New Japan guys. Now El Phantasmo is their junior tag team, junior heavyweight champion, and he's also New Japan now. So
yeah, that's funny.
So hopefully it comes it has great success there, and like I said, it's good to have multiple companies that can have people working at it. Especially now that there's going to be becoming more exclusive, you know, as AEW, Impact, and ROH have more exclusive contracts. That can only be something that benefits the wrestlers. So
yes, 100%. And then also we already know next week is like this week already a big week for wrestling with New Japan and Impact. Next week also a big week of wrestling for AEW, WWE, and Evolve. So a lot of wrestling already this month. So should be interesting. Let's talk about the final bit of news outside of the WWE. What was it again, Liam?
it was well, we were going to have it be about the Southern Showdown, the New Japan show in Australia, where we're going to talk about how Robbie Eagles has now jumped ship from Bullet Club to Chaos.
Former Evolve champion.
Evolve champion.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to, so not Rev Pro, Evolve. There we go.
Yeah, so he was so Robbie Eagles has been showing that he was not enjoying his time in Bullet Club during the run up in the Best of the Super Juniors, been showing his displeasure with another Super Junior in there in El Phantasmo, and after a match with Will Ospreay that he lost against El Phantasmo, and I think it was Taiji Shimori that was with him as well. We're beating down Will Ospreay, but Robbie Eagles did not join in, and instead fought them off to help Will Ospreay, who he grew to respect through his matches, and now he's a member of Chaos. So it's a good move, a good story breaking out there. I wonder if we'll have more implications on, say, someone like Fale, because Fale was the guy who brought him in to there, but it's too early to tell now. But yeah, it was a good story leading up to it. It showed the disconnect that was happening between El Phantasmo and Tomohiro, El Phantasmo and Taiji Shimori versus Robbie Eagles. So you saw that building up, so it made sense that go as it did. So we can welcome now to Chaos.
which is your favorite faction, I
Yeah.
believe. But yeah, so that's really cool.
Let's hope that this Australian one is going to be a lot better than the last New Zealand one they had in their group.
Yeah, Jay White turning.
That's why you can't trust those Kiwis.
Mm-hmm.
They think that Dakota Kai is so sweet, but stab you right in the back.
100%. Yeah, so I have not been able to watch that show, but from what I hear, it was a really good show. So
I haven't been able to watch it. It just came onto the New Japan World Thursday, I think. So I haven't had an opportunity to go back and watch it, but but I'm definitely gonna try to check it out, especially since I heard that match was really good. Anyways, that's our last major news outside of WWE, so we can get into our next segment, news inside WWE.
And it's very much like the last one. However, this is WWE only stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a celebration here, and it's Peyton Royce got to celebrate her bachelorette party in Las Vegas. She is, of course, engaged to Sean Spears, so we hope them a happy and prosperous future. And that's the second coupling. Well, no, that's the third coupling of a WWE person with an AEW person. So that's interesting. Guillotine choke.
What was the other one?
Britt Baker and Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
And Dean Ambrose and Renee Young.
Yeah, okay. So much forget about that.
Don't know very much if there is another one that I'm unaware of, but those are the three big ones.
Think of like Vince McMahon, he's about this. It's like, what? Another one being engaged to an AEW person? Who is this person? Pete Royce? I don't even know who they are. They NXT? They're our current women's tag team champions. That's still a thing?
Right. But yeah, we hope them a very happy future.
I thought it was a one-off, like that Greatest Royal Rumble Championship belt.
Yeah, so what's the next piece of news?
We have Triple H on his journey to conquer all of wrestling by just purchasing everyone and hiring them. He had recently WWE was in Japan, and while in Tokyo, he had a sit-down meeting with a few Joshi wrestlers. One of the biggest names to come out of it was Sari, which is S-A-R with 3 E's. Just be confused in the spelling there with the number of E's.
Sorry.
Yeah, she was earlier in June just the champion for World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, which kind of takes the case of craziest.
What the heck?
That takes like the cake of like the craziest of wrestling names. I don't even know where Diana comes in here. She was the world champion there, and then had a match against Chihiro Hashimoto, who was the champion of Sunday Girls, Sunday Girls, sorry. And then after that, Sari won and became the champions of both companies. So that was pretty big news and makes her a pretty big name, even though she's quite a young talent. But yeah, apparently she had a sit-down meeting with Triple H because he's trying to bring her into WWE. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, so already we have Io Shirai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. We also had, I know Mayu Watanabe was supposed to do something. with WWE, I think, and yay, Sonata wins. Who was that? It was Kairi Sane. No, it was Io Shirai and two other Japanese superstars in the last Mayon Classic.
Oh,
blanking on their names.
I know what you're talking about. One was Mako Satomura.
Yes.
Who is the owner of Sunday Heroes.
Okay.
And the other one was, I'm blanking on the name too, but yeah, I think they were just coming in just for that Mayon thing.
Which kind of shows you that WWE does kind of have a working relation with those companies. So Triple H going over there, he likes the Joshi likes the Joshi Japanese wrestlers.
It's like that Juice Robinson.
He's probably really upset about Juice Robinson.
See, he watches New Japan and it's like, you know that Juice Robinson kid, he'd make a great hippie gimmick.
But
they should really have him out there with little signs that talk about being respectful to the planet.
Yeah, that is what's his name?
I don't know why I was trying to do Vince McMahon with Triple H.
I don't know either.
That sounded.
He's like Suzuki as well. Just attacks all the young lions.
Yeah, but it was almost like for Juice Robinson, it was almost like something Vince would have done, don't you think?
100%. But anyways, yeah. So Triple H already likes the Joshi wrestlers. Bring in I think 5 different ones already. It's not
3 for full NXT, and then some more for Mayhem Classics.
Yeah. So it's not a surprise that he went out to speak with her, and I don't think it would be a surprise if she ends up signing some kind of deal as well. Maybe not until the Mae Young Classic. We'll see. But it's definitely interesting because he's definitely trying to get inside of the Japanese markets. We've seen that with Akira Tozawa, Kushida right now, and a guy we're about to watch wrestle, Kenta, or the former Hideo Itami.
With his takeover shirt.
So
I wonder if that's a nod to anything.
I don't know. Apparently New Japan's already selling it too. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if something does, I think it won't really happen until the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, it's probably going to be her in the Mae Young Classic, I would assume.
Talking about Io Shirai briefly, did she end up winning that cage match against Shayna Baszler?
I have not gone back to watch it.
Okay.
I'm behind on NXT.
Okay, because I think it was for the championship
It was
again.
for the championship, then I believe it's no.
Okay.
I think they had like a close finish thing where I think she choked out Shayna and Shayna fell out of the cage unconscious, and still won.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I think Shayna's still the champion.
Alright. But yeah, moving on to the next piece of news is the
Also, I'd say interesting.
Okay.
Do you think how do you think he's convincing Vince McMahon to get all these Japanese female wrestlers?
he's probably going behind his back.
I just heard it pretty recently. Did you hear about what JR did to convince Vince McMahon to hire?
Was it Gail Kim?
Yeah.
I did, and it's sad. But
That's pretty stunning.
It was the time back in the day.
There's entire porn sites dedicated to Asian wrestlers, and it's like, really? Do they dye their hair blonde? He's definitely a man of his type.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. But so, moving on to the next piece of news, it is the Attitude Era coming back to WWE. But what did you see or hear about any of this?
Yes, I did briefly. As that's what all they've done was shown was briefly things.
But yeah, obviously the Attitude Era is an era that has gone and passed. And a new era, however, it seems like it's about to come again. Apparently, WWE want to appeal to a teenage demographic. So.
And they really let the Attitude Era come back, and they have Maria give birth to a hand.
Well, we'll get to that. But they want to appeal to the teenage demographic, mostly teenage boys, the ones who are going to be more of the consumers of wrestling. Not to say there aren't female wrestling fans, there are a lot of them. Just look at this show, the one we're watching, a lot of women here, which is awesome.
Especially a lot in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of female wrestlers, female fans in Japan.
Yeah.
So oddly enough, less in the women's promotions.
Exactly. But we see, but we do see that when it comes to the numbers of the merchandise sales and stuff, especially for the action figures, the teenage male audience is the one that is buying more of those. Is it because there's less women figures? Who knows? But it's just the numbers that are there. So how does WWE end up trying to bring about this new era? Well, last week it was reported that Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are now about to run Raw and SmackDown respectively.
Then I was saying that Paul Heyman already started.
Mm-hmm.
Bischoff started after Extreme Rules, but Paul has already started with this first week.
Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was kind of starting even before that a little bit.
I mean, it's definitely known that he worked with Superstars Help with promos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On the Alexa Bliss thing, they showed her talking with Paul before she did her first Moment of Bliss, but he was giving her some pointers.
So, is that Shibata?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, and what's the next step? Well, apparently it's to add more cursing, fingers, and we can expect more violence in the coming
And crazy
weeks.
storylines.
And way crazier storylines. So let's talk a little bit about the swearing and the vulgarity. We had a holy
Shit moment, yes.
Uncensored, and we had Kofi Kingston flip the bird. That's not
Samoa Joe,
also uncensored.
Who may have oversold it, really.
Yeah. But also uncensored. So that's really interesting. What do you think about that?
Hopefully it's more than just a blatant, a weak attempt to try to get more people in by just giving them certain things. You need a lot more than that to really draw people in. You need better storylines and characters. And if you're not going to provide that part of the wrestling, yeah. But if you're not going to provide that part of the wrestling, then it doesn't really mean anything. It's no one's going to stop wrestling just because they're going to say curse words every now and again. If anything, that would appeal to the younger demographics. Like they use 9-year-olds that said, "You said a bad word.
I have to watch it in secret now."
Yeah. I'm cool.
And
because
what
Kofi Kingston put up his middle finger.
And what about the weird storylines with Maria and Mike Kanellis?
I think we also just say bravo to them for signing a 5-year deal, only to tell them afterwards that she's pregnant and can't wrestle.
That would twice in a row she signs deals with him and instantly gets pregnant. She must be a really good negotiator. But apparently Paul Heyman really, really likes her, and and he says that she is a very creative woman, and also really business savvy, and it kind of shows. So do you think this cuckolding of Mike Kanellis is a storyline from them, or is it a punishment? Who knows? What are your thoughts on this craziness? Well, let's give some context to the people who don't know about it. Mike and Maria Kanellis challenged Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. They're dating, if you didn't know.
What? When did that happen?
I know, right?
I thought they would have talked about that on Raw or something.
You would think, or at least Extreme Rules or something. But yeah, so they're dating. Mike and Maria come up.
I thought
they're
she would
married.
come to his defense at Stomping Ground or something if they were dating.
Right. So they're in the back, and Maria challenges the two of them to an intergender match. Once Maria gets in, she goes, "No, don't hit me, Becky. I'm pregnant." And Mike is shocked. And he's like, "What? Who? What? How? How did this happen? Oh my gosh, this is great." And Maria's like, "This isn't your baby." And Becky makes Mike tap in the middle of the ring to win the match, and Maria just continuously bashes and berates this man. It's like, next time I want to get pregnant, I'll have Becky Lynch do it. And it's just like, okay, interesting. But yeah, what are you thinking of all of this craziness?
It's really dumb. I mean, what more can you really say other than that, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely reminds you of the 90s, early 2000s storylines where Stephanie McMahon gets into a fight with Dawn Marie and her top gets ripped off from a limo, or Dawn Marie blackmailing Tori Wilson into lesbianism, or a bunch of other craziness. Even what is Mickey James and Trish Stratus and their storyline. However, I was a fan of that storyline growing up because it was just so bizarre and weird, and I became a huge fan of Mickey James because she is amazing. She should be on Raw. I think you know why. But anyways, yeah, it is pretty dumb, and it seems like it's a storyline 15 years too late.
Yeah, it's not a great maneuver there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then did you have the Extreme Rules card up at all?
No.
Alright, while you get that, we'll just say the last bit of we're not the biggest fans of this particular storyline, and we're just gonna see where it goes from here, I guess. Oh, Kenta. That was. He does one of those pinning predicaments where he's stepping on the guy, and Red Shoes is just refusing to count, and so Kenta counts for himself.
Yeah. Okay.
This is some brutal knee strikes.
Do we have to look somewhere else? No.
So I'm guessing Kenta is a heel.
Oh, yeah.
But
Can't take over as a good guy. Okay. So we have the first match we have listed here. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans.
winner takes all.
Yeah, in a no one cares match. And Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre in a no holds barred, no one cares match. Then Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe in a singles match with the WWE Championship, because nothing says worthy contender like losing the U.S. title to a guy who would then lose to AJ Styles. that really shows Samoa Joe he's championship material. Then we have a rematch, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Women's SmackDown's championship.
With Nikki Cross at her corner, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And it will be really interesting to see where that story. I think that's the most interesting story going on right now.
It seems like they have to do a repeat of that because they couldn't repeat it from Saudi Arabia since it didn't happen there. So they're like, you gotta at least do every match twice. Why? Reasons.
Only Vince knows.
Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese in for the match for the Cruiserweight Championship.
I feel like this one should be a submission match. We need a submission match. Those are so good, but alas, it is not.
Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the New Day, represented by Big E and Xavier Woods versus Heavy Machinery in a triple threat tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And then Aleister Black versus a to-be-announced opponent for a singles match.
Yeah, so some of the card seems like it's going to be pretty cool.
The other bit is those tag team matches that no one cares about.
Yeah, the first two.
Those say first two, but those
that's the first two we talked about. The first two we talked about.
I'd be heavily surprised if those weren't main events from this.
I can see Undertaker end up being in the middle, that match being in the middle, because there are other matches that are more important, but who knows?
I mean, they fancy words that they don't recognize on WWE, like important.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting storyline going right now is the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship scene. If the Nikki Cross element, where who knows where that's going, Alexa Bliss, possibly a double turn going on here, who knows? Maybe something with Nikki Cross turning heel. There's so many possibilities. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it seems like Cody was pretty right on with that Bayley comment.
And then also, who knows? Sasha Banks might come back. They might have reconciled. There's so many things going on that could happen, and for that particular story, it's actually really interesting. What do you think would be the standout match of the night?
Standout match as a physical match, I would say possibly the WWE Championship match. Like, you still have problems with the storyline development. Because, like I said, it doesn't make sense for Samoa Joe to be put in that situation.
I think
it's also going to be another obvious one because Samoa Joe is not winning.
I think it was just he attacked Kofi, and then Kofi was like, "I want you in a match because I'm going to beat you now." And I think that's what that was, but I'm not sure. It wasn't really clear.
Yeah. Though, I mean, like I said, Samoa Joe came up that he's like the main event jobber.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You think we might see a muscle buster?
No, not since Tyson Kidd incident.
Well, apparently, which was interesting bit of information. Apparently, after the Tyson Kidd incident, he was still allowed to use it a couple times more in NXT. He only was never allowed to use it once he got to Maine.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's on Maine now, so. Also, do you think they're gonna have more interference finishes and more stuff to make Kofi not look like a great champion?
Let's hope not.
Because you had the interference, you had the Bayley winning the steel cage match. He's not he's not built to look the strongest against his opponents that definitely should not be beating him.
Yeah. I mean, his strongest win was against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, I think.
Yeah, when he won it the first time. And after that, it's been, you know, he had the interference, Saudi Arabia, with Dolph Ziggler, and the other Dolph Ziggler match where he barely won by just leaping over him at the last second. And then,
What happened with Kevin Owens?
oh, I don't remember what happened to Kevin Owens actually. So maybe not a bit strong, but
I think we missed that pay-per-view as well.
yeah, we probably did. That may have been Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
The one right before Saudi Arabia.
And the one on the same night as Game of Thrones.
Right.
So, okay, so that's some news inside the WWE there. Do you have anything else?
No, not newsworthy. Not at the moment. So we can move on to our.
One news outside WWE I think I heard was that it should be noted his ankle's fine.
Oh, thank goodness.
It may have been a little bruised in here, but his ankle is largely fine. Brian Alvarez on Twitter reported that. So
That was scary. So yeah. Next.
But what I was saying was that
Yes.
New Japan has reported that the next Wrestle Kingdom will have a special women's only section for women to sit at, so that they don't have to worry about harassment.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about culture I don't really know that well, but when you hear stuff from Japanese culture, it can be very harassing, especially when you hear stuff what happens on subway trains. You hear a lot of stuff about like molesting and stuff like that, so it'd be a reason why they would want to keep the group separate. I think that's one of the people that were saying like the reason why they don't want Joshi wrestling to come to New Japan is because they don't want it to become dangerous for female New Japan fans to go and have to sit next to Joshi male fans.
Yeah. And New Japan can have its own Joshi only affiliated company. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so
Yeah, but let's not get into the monthly New Japan should have women's wrestling on Twitter.
Right.
Debate that always happens because they don't need to have it because they're successful women's promotions already existing in Japan.
100%. So after that detour, let's get into our next segment, best segment of the week. And it's not us bragging; it's just us picking what we thought was the best segment within wrestling of the week.
Yeah, it's not our best segment. It's really just a middle of the road segment, really. But it's what's our best segment in wrestling that we had. So did you need me to spare some time while this match to go through to see if it...
Yeah. So you can start it off.
I'll start off by saying the match where she won the championship. All happened in June. They just aired it just this past week online. So I got to see that one. I thought that was a really good matchup. Real nice, brutal matchup for women's wrestling. So I thought it was real good show. Another one I want to give a shout out to is from All Japan Pro Wrestling. Their show last Sunday. I saw their tag match that happened there, which was between the champions Giant Killers versus the Team of the End. So it was a lot of big hoss guys battling each other. I thought that was a really good matchup as well. It was a real entertaining one. Really got involved. So I would say check that out. I saw it on YouTube, and I may get their All Japan Network going forward to see more matches. I want to see the championship matches. It actually had the champion versus you remember Yoshitatsu?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fighting for the championship there. It's a big story because I heard that after he went from WWE back to New Japan, he kind of floated around in the mid-card scene, not doing much. Then he went to All Japan, got into a tag team with this with the current champion right now, and now has kind of made his way up to being a fan favorite and contending for being an actual contender for the championship. So I heard it was a real good match. I want to check that one out too. And after seeing the good tag team match, I think it was good. So I just wanted to give shout outs for those. The women's match was on the Sendai, with the Sendai girls. It's from there. That's the company that they did the match on itself, because it involves two different companies. That's why I wanted to point that out. And like I said, the other one, the tag team match, is All Japan. Since a lot of people don't talk about anything outside of New Japan when it comes to wrestling. Even someone like Dave Meltzer doesn't really talk about it as much. I don't want to give some shout outs for those matches. But going into what I thought was the best segment of the week, I would go with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata in the G1 show. I think it was even better than their G1 from last year, which I thought was one of my favorites of the G1. But it was a really great matchup filled with a lot of reversals, a lot of grappling moves, and a ton of interesting things. They really pair well with each other. Sonata really goes out of his way to match Zack Sabre Jr. in the technical aspect, even though he's not necessarily a full-blown technical wrestler on his own. But he goes out of his way to try to meet Zack on his level instead of just trying to do his way and try to mesh it together with Zack Sabre Jr. So I really like that, and I thought it's really revolutionary. Like that should probably be the style that you'll see 5 or 10 years from now from people who are just learning to wrestle now. That may be the new style that would be there to replace strong style, something like that. It'd be like the new high flying, which is kind of this grapple based style, and it just things real interesting. And I feel one wrestler that agrees with me is Ryusuke Taguchi. He said that their match of the G1 last year was his favorite as well, and he actually also said that he thinks that could be like the wave of the future for wrestling.
Yeah, I got to watch that one while we were doing the podcast, and it was super impressive and fluid. It reminded me a lot of Drew Gulak versus, what is his name? Jack Gallagher, last year's UK tournament. So that kind of very quick technical style is really impressive, especially when Zack Sabre Jr. is able to move the way he does. And you mentioned how some people don't think he has a personality. I got a lot of personality in that match.
Yeah,
he's just a cocky little douchebag. That's his thing. That's what he portrays. That's what he does.
I don't know if you would have noticed it with the volume down, but there was like a point where he was out on the outside, just kind of recuperating, and they were counting down, and I was like, as it was going on, he was doing it was like 18, 19, and like he just like gently rolls in.
That's funny.
Yeah, so he has a ton of personality. I don't know. I think it's just people who haven't seen him work. Or maybe seen like just a small match that didn't allow him to shine. Maybe something from like the Cruiserweight Classic, the first tournament they had, which I don't really remember. So maybe they didn't have him show his personality off as much. But yeah, I think one of when I was saying about the Shakespeare dogs, on like Twitter thread that was posted about it, that people who clearly never seen this match, because I think someone was saying like, the Americans aren't used to the technical style because of Vince McMahon and stuff, and it's like person was like going like, oh, well, a whole bunch of match with a bunch of flips and kicks on it is entertaining. It's like, what are you talking about? It's actually Jr. And the thing, like, the comments on that was like,
well, you guys think he got Will Ospreay confused with Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think you just think all indie wrestlers are the same, but it's like, and what was so dumb, it's like, you clearly haven't watched it. He has like one kick, a penalty kick, he does like once a match, and everything else is just technical work. But yeah, so there's a lot of people who don't.
And that's only done, penalty kick. Hey, it's Ren Narita. That's cool.
There's a lot of people who clearly don't watch indie wrestling or shows like, say, New Japan or AEW, but feel like they have the ability to comment on it.
They're probably out there, but the thing you see most is the teddy bears.
Yes, teddy bears are awesome.
Teddy bears are really cutesy.
Apparently that actually comes from the current CEO, the guy who took over. That was one of his things.
That's
I think I saw someone on Twitter say, like, before you criticize the current CEO of New Japan, make sure to understand that he is the one who invented the teddy bears.
But yeah, so the teddy bears are very cutesy and all, and because of that, that is more of a draw to, especially in Japan, where cutesy is huge over there, to the women. All these big muscular men aren't not always as, if you ever see a lot of anime, most of the heroes, and depending on which one you're watching, are scrawny looking dudes, but usually drawn in a way where they have big hair, really kawaii, and that's what those teddy bears are. They're kawaii, and that brings in a lot of the women. So I think that's where WWE doesn't really have the same kind of marketing strategies to get the win, because the figures and wrestling the figures is a kind of a male child sentiment, where the kawaii, and it's not always the case, it's just the numbers.
Yeah, I'm so, like, the bears are probably still newer things, so it is not really sure why it does appeal to more female fans than WWE does. Even back, WWF 80s days, or the WWF.
Yeah.
So it's not really sure. It may just be a cultural difference. They do clearly have female fans going to this event that you see a lot. And you can definitely see some of the appeal may be people like Kota Ibushi to the female fans, because they seem to really like to get around ringside when he was coming out.
And then also, they probably have done body pillows with them on it, which is also a huge.
I don't know their full merchandising. I know they have some stuff. You think they would have a lot, because Japan is known for merchandising everything. When you just see all the stuff, even down to like toilet paper roll holders, plungers, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see the numbers of New Japan.
I know they have little chibi keychains.
Yeah, chibi stuff.
That's all the chibi, all the wrestlers in chibi forms.
A lot of the that's also a
and they like the little banners. That's one of the must be the top sellers. Those banners for all the groups and the wrestlers they have.
But yeah, that's kind of sort of what I.
Which kind of shows itself as, see, there's one there.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not as popular in the American crowd here as it would be in Japan, where they have so many people with that. And also, no one's offering it to him to wipe his face off. But I guess that would happen after the match anyway. So.
Yeah. But I also would have to say, a lot of the marketing, not marketing, but a lot of the merchandise does seem a little bit more centered towards what females would consume versus what the males would consume. Not to say there isn't crossover, because there obviously is. It's just
Yeah, like the teddy bears.
that's just what I see. That's just what I see. A lot more of the women have the merchandise than the men when it comes to the crab.
Think of that if like you're playing with them. It's like
he also looks like a Super Sentai.
here's my like you're playing with little action figures. It's on Triple H, and then it's like, what's that? It's a Tanahashi come down, but it's like a teddy bear. Teddy bear Tanahashi beating up the action figure Triple H.
But yeah, so let's go to mine. My
this
favorite.
is for all the female Asian wrestlers. This is for Nakamura.
But my best segment of the week. I'm going back to last week since I didn't watch it until this current week. It was the tag team match between Private Party, which is Isaiah and Mark, and then we had SoCal Uncensored, which was Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian, and we had Best Friends, which is Chucky T and Trent Beretta. That match was really, really good. A lot of cool back and forth. Private Party really getting to showcase their talents and what they're about. Huge star-making performances from them, as well as the Best Friends getting that victory. It was just a really great match, and I really enjoyed it. I would say a different match, but that was already yours.
Oh, okay.
That match was so good.
Yeah.
But this tag match was also really amazing. And I can't say the same match 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, it's going to be Best Friends versus SoCal versus Private Party. SCU, SoCal Uncensored. Yeah, let's move on to the next segment. And it is the Are You Serious segment. It's where we vent about things that are happening in wrestling. I'll let you start off, sir.
I won't go negative. I'll just go positive for this one.
Okay.
I will give a positive response to WWE for acknowledging problems and looking to fix them. That was a big step to hire Bischoff and Paul Heyman to come in, and it's also a big step to try to be edgier. And I will give them appreciation for acknowledging that people have a problem, and instead of just ignoring them, to do stuff to stimulate the people watching and going and attending shows.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's it shouldn't be a big deal for a company to do that, but it's given what WWE's been doing for years now, it is definitely a big deal
Yeah.
for them to respond like that. So hopefully it goes to bigger things in the future. And there was a huge pop for the big bands. You can even hear off with the
Yeah, we have it really low, and there's huge pop.
It's also sponsored by Pac-Man for some reason.
Pac-Man. That.
Pac-Man fever, Pac-Man fever. Did you hear about that song?
Nope.
That was a hit song back in the 70s.
Oh, cool.
Like when Pac-Man came out, it was that popular that someone wrote a hit song off of Pac-Man called Pac-Man Fever.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the crowd's going crazy for this matchup here.
Yeah, it was probably. It has Big Fight Field, and they haven't even started the match proper yet. But yeah, so I'll actually give a little rant. It's a double rant. First is going to be for Seth Rollins. Alright, are you working again? Okay. Hey everybody. So sorry about. I don't even know where it went off on us. Whether it was us looking or it was before that. But we had some weird technical difficulties, and now we are back. Sorry about that, everybody that's watching. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
I think it's a YouTube issue.
Yeah.
Has that been happening like the last few days? YouTube buffering for no apparent reason while nothing else has that problem.
Really?
Yeah, like second time watching this few hours from each Japan and never buffered once.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watch Netflix it doesn't buffer. But it's not like I even try to like load up YouTube on the TV app and just circles.
Mm-hmm. That's so weird, but yeah, sorry guys, but we're back. We're gonna do our. That was a great event, great first night. But yeah, we're gonna do our. Again, I don't know where it was, where it happened. Hopefully, it wasn't a lot of segments, but we're just gonna jump right into what do you think? That's where we ask our Falcon Padres what do they think, and my question to Liam is, what do you think of the G1 climax so far?
I think it's going really well. Hopefully the other matches going through. We just got through the last match here, Okada versus Tanahashi. So a lot of excellent matches. Love to see what happens with Moxley now and there, what Shingo can do, and of course Naito. So there's a lot to look forward to. So yeah, big night, and hopefully it keeps going.
So what is your question, sir?
My question was, also after you asked that, I brought up the fact that we missed some news outside WWE. The Pro Wrestling Guerrilla announcing a few participants in their battle for Los Angeles. The participants that we have now are a kid from Spain, that got really popular with that.
His 5-star match is actually Jr.
Really good one. By the way, people should check that out. Jonathan Gresham from ROH, who was in the Best of the Super Juniors this year as well, and fiance of Jordan Grace.
Okay.
Autumn Spencer, who I do not know that much about. Then we have Darby Allin, who we talked about earlier and saw in Fyter Fest, and then Mick
Booked
Morty.
him to face Juice Robinson.
Yes. Then we had Mick Morty. I don't know too much about him either. So.
Yeah, so can't wait to see the participants of that all the way.
Yes. But anyways, my question to you: are you going to keep up with the G1? Attempt to watch more matches.
Since I now know, don't watch all of the show each and every day. Just skip.
Because I know with Best of the Super Juniors, you
got too much for me.
You got night one.
Yeah, all of night one, halfway into night two, which means I missed all of the tournament matches. I realized only 2 hours, the last 2 hours, is the stuff you really need to watch.
Yeah, because the tag teams are just setups for the upcoming events.
Okay, somebody has an Okada head fused with John Cena, and I thought that was. Okay, so people are calling him the John Cena of the New Japan. Or at least that dude is.
Not that dude is, yeah. I would say Tanahashi is more of that position. You can see it right in the background there.
Is that Tana or Okada?
That's Okada.
Okay.
Tanahashi's never had blonde hair like that.
Okay.
What's interesting is I also found out that originally Okada didn't have good speaking skills. That's why he was paired with Kato.
Okay.
To act as his mouthpiece. So he had confidence issues. And now he gives the end of the show speeches.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, so you gonna keep up with more?
I will definitely try. I definitely want to see night 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the first round for B block, and that has Moxley, my boy Naito, and a couple of others, and it should be a really cool match. Like Tai Chi's there, Jay White, Shingo Takagi, which I'm really interested to see how he does.
Goto and Ishii.
Mm-hmm. Who is Goto?
Hiroki Goto.
Yeah, what
Chaos
faction is he?
guy.
He's Chaos? Okay. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to, and I think I'm missing a few more.
So apparently Chris Sabin's gonna be watching Slammiversary. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Chris Sabin. Pretty sure he's a former Machine Gun, Motor City Machine Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is he
But
the one that
Alex
retired,
Shelley.
or was it Alex Shelley that
I think
retired?
Shelley retired.
Okay. But yeah. Which one is the one with the hesitation dropkick?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, I know it's one of them too. But yeah, I will try. I will definitely do my best. A couple of hours at the end of the show, I think I'll be able to handle it. We will see.
Looks like he goes all the way to next Saturday for night 2 for the G1.
Well, drat. So even more wrestling next week.
Well, to be fair, it's like in the morning for us.
Oh, true.
You can watch it before you go into work.
Very true.
Yes. I can tell you all the matches. Juice versus Shingo Takagi.
Go Shingo.
Moxley versus Tai Chi.
Moxley's winning that one.
Toro,
That's the easiest one.
Toru Yano versus Tetsuya Naito.
Yano versus I think Naito's winning that one.
Ishii versus Cobb.
Ishii versus Jeff Cobb, that's right. Ooh, I think Ishii might win that, but that's gonna be an interesting match right there.
And Goto versus Jay White.
Goto and Jay White. They might give that one to Jay, but you never know.
Yeah.
However, one thing, I think I know why it's going to be a while before night 2, and it might be because John Moxley will next week. Wait, no, he's not going to be, because it's next week. I don't know why it's such a long wait.
You know, when this was first starting out, they had because the count out had like the G1 history of the G1 stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
When it first started out, it used to be like a 3-day tournament,
Okay.
but you would wrestle multiple matches in a single day to have it done. And even before you had that, you actually had a few other tournaments. They had one of which was the IWGP tournament, and you know who won that one? The very first tournament they had. Well, basically the predecessor for that in the first IWGP Heavyweight Championship tournament.
The answer is no.
The answer is Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he beat Antonio Inoki in the finals of the first ever IWGP tournament
That's
to
interesting.
become the first ever IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Of course he would. So yeah, that's our segment of What Do You Think? And let's move on to our final segment of the show. It is the mailbag. It's where we take questions from you, either directly or from other sources that we found, and, well, we answer them. And what is definitely on everyone's mind is, who do you think is going to win between Fight for the Fallen versus Evolve on the WWE Network?
It depends on some things. I don't know if Fight for the Fallen. I know it's free in America.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's free internationally, or if it's gonna be similar like the last one they did.
Yeah.
That would definitely change things because to go from a show for a network that most people already have
Mm-hmm.
to one that people may have to pay for,
Yeah.
that changes things up. So it's unsure. In America, though, I would say Fight for the Fallen will probably come out on top,
Mm-hmm.
especially since people won't even have to get the WWE Network, so it'd actually be a cheaper thing for them if you have people who don't have the network right now.
Yeah, that is true. I also think in America they're gonna win, but there's always that wild card of Fight for the Fallen is for charity and a good cause, so that might edge them out around the world as well, even if they have to pay. I honestly don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see which one Cultaholic covers, which one Wrestling with Regret covers. I know for a fact we will be covering Fight for the Fallen. We don't know anything about Evolve. We do not follow anything from those guys. And AEW is really easy to follow since they've only had 2 shows. And yeah, so also we really like the cause they're going for, and we really just like AEW. So I'm not saying we won't watch Evolve, we're just not watching it live or first. What about yeah, I don't know. What are some other questions?
Some other questions here. We have. Do you think that Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman can save the WWE with changes, or do you think it's a lost cause?
I don't think it's a lost cause. However, I don't think Vince McMahon is forward thinking enough to, one, fully give control, and 2, like we said, R-Truth was on the podcast saying that he was actually going to be dressed up as the bride, and Vince McMahon turned it down. He's still very much in control of a lot of things, even the things that the other wrestlers are in control of.
So who knows if the new angle is being good anyways. Paul Heyman sits him down, it's like, hey Drake, yeah, great angle for you. It's this, cuckolding.
First Mike, then Drake. Oh no.
Yeah, but though, to be fair, a lot of people were saying that was a really good episode of Monday Night Raw this past week. Despite a few hiccups.
Yeah, there's still a lot of the old guard still there, and the new guard isn't going to fully be in effect until after Extreme Rules. However, like you said in Are You Serious segment, it is WWE acknowledging that they need to make a change. Whether the change is good or not, we just have to wait and see.
Why do you think that Triple H wasn't a part of the wasn't one of the people called up to like take over?
I'm surprised he wasn't the one taking over SmackDown, to be honest. He should be.
Maybe just didn't like his ideas.
Even right now, you see Eric Bischoff getting a lot of flack, and he hasn't even started yet. But once everyone was like, "Oh, Paul Heyman, yay, Paul Heyman," but Eric Bischoff's name was not that praised. So it's gonna be interesting once he's truly, because he was not there on SmackDown this past week. Paul Heyman was at Gorilla, So it's going to be very interesting to see what changes are going to happen and if they're received well, because we don't know when it comes to SmackDown just yet.
Maybe he was going to allow him to run SmackDown, but wasn't liking some of the changes. Like, first off, we're not going to do all the blue. We're going to do yellow and black.
Just turn it into NXT.
Yes. and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to push the Asian women. And Vince was like, whoa, it's too much.
Asian women.
Jimmy Eric Bischoff.
We're going to actually put the Kabuki Warriors on the show. Whoa. Who? What? What do you mean who? Paige is their spokesperson now? Wait, Paige is still signed with us? We joke, but we actually see how that can be reality, and then it makes your heart really sad.
Do you think that WWE should hire, as Paige said, hire her brothers for NXT UK?
I honestly don't know. When you see Paige and her brothers next to each other, her brothers definitely got glammed up really well in the movie, because they're a rough looking bunch. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't even know how well they are when it comes to writing and stuff, and what their involvement in the scene is at the moment. So, what do you think about the new Imperium for NXT UK? Or have you not really been following NXT UK?
Not really.
Yeah, following wrestling right now has been really tough, because there's been a lot, and I'm already indecisive as it is. So all those choices, just like that one. Why that one? I don't know. Don't ask me to make another choice. We're just going with this one today.
Yeah, if I want to add All Japan Pro Wrestling and Sendai Heroes, it's gonna be even more crowded.
Not to mention the one that Tony Storm likes to work for a lot.
Oh, Stardom, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd really like to check out a couple matches from them. And that's also not to mention all the other stuff going on here in America. I didn't even know about Slammiversary until yesterday. And if I would have known like a week or a week and a half in advance, we probably would have been streaming it. But I did not know. But dang, it's just, there's so much to go. With all of this wrestling and all these promotions.
The 8 hours of WWE.
Oh, yeah. We don't even watch the weekly shows.
It's a little full work day of WWE.
Wow. Yeah, guys, we would have to be making money, and you would have to go to my Patreon to help us make some money in order for us to actually cover wrestling legitimately.
Oh, you have a Patreon?
I do.
Wow.
It's not, it's very low key, and it is set up towards the geeky stuff.
Production?
Yes. I'm pretty sure it is Patreon/Skeleton Productions. But, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling. And we didn't even talk about Dragon Gate. We didn't even talk about the other Japanese promotion that's popular. Noah. We didn't talk about them. Didn't talk about the women's only promotions here in America. We didn't even talk about the British stuff that's out there.
What's the ones in America? You have WoW, Shimmer, I think Eve's UK.
Netflix has Glow.
Then I think they actually have any. I think it's just WoW and Shimmer. Like it's Eve's UK.
And then a lot of the UK stuff we didn't even talk about.
Well, what UK one would you get into? if you had a choice? Make your choice now.
I started watching Defiant when it was WCPW, and then the lads left for Cultaholic, and I just gave up on that. And then they changed it to Defiant, and then Joe Hendry left, so I never got back into it. I think Martin Kirby's still there.
That's what they should have called their new company, Ladaholics.
Right, but honestly, I'd like to see more Rev Pro because you got New Japan in there with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't even talk about, we did mention them, but we didn't even talk about, I want to see some CMLL because Roosh is awesome.
Yeah.
MLW, and Sammy Callahan has his own promotion. Another thing in the news we didn't even get to.
Yeah.
Alberto El Patron has his own promotion now.
What if he shows up for that?
Ooh, nice. What a bird.
Yeah,
But and he's talking a lot about health insurance, how he's going to give coverage, not just when they're in ring, but outside of his in-ring stuff too.
That's nice. With CMLL, there is some on New Japan. When they have like a New Japan guy go over there, they will air it on New Japan World.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't know how to watch it weekly. Not with AAA, I'm not 100% sure.
And then that's
well, AAA has their Twitch, so
yeah.
So you can go through Twitch.
Yeah, I have them on Twitch.
That was a great expansion for Twitch there, allowing them, because it used to be just gaming, but then they expanded to other stuff and allowed stuff like that to happen.
Impact's on Twitch, and a couple of others as well. But and then we also didn't like in this particular moment we didn't mention Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Ring of Honor, Canada stuff, China stuff. There's 2 promotions there. Indian
There's 2 in
stuff.
China?
Yeah, the one the one that's Chima, and then the first one was done by another man entirely. What was his name? He was in the Cruiserweight Classic.
There was someone named Ho Ho from China, the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yes, him.
I remember him because he's like the
Ho Ho Loon. Or
like the Pokemon Ho Ho.
He was he started the very first Chinese based.
Oh, they got like Smash in Canada.
And then the one in Spain where they had that 5-star classic.
White Wolf, yeah.
And then in Germany. And we can just keep going on and on. There's so many, but we have to pick a handful.
WXW, that's the one in Germany?
WXW, yep.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, and then
I wasn't sure if it was Germany.
ICW. in what? Ireland.
Championship Wrestling? Is that the one in Ireland? And they also have over OTT. I watched some of that before. Over the Top.
Yeah, them as well.
Yes.
And then Insane Clown Posse has their own promotion.
Yes.
So yeah, there's just
there's CZW, the Hardcore.
Yep.
And then they have the new Hardcore, which is GCW, Game Changing Wrestling.
Not to mention the comedy,
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling Circus and
Chikara.
Chikara.
Then there's also Beyond Wrestling, but to think of GCW, they had pay-per-view 4th of July. They had backyard wrestling pay-per-view. It was literally in a backyard.
Wait, isn't that where I heard where somebody did a 630 out of the ring onto a door?
Yeah,
that is mental.
Someone, yeah.
Apparently the dude is a big dude too, who should not be able to do stuff like that.
Well, he's a tall guy, like tall, lanky. It worked out for him. Apparently, he has booked until the rest of the year, and Chima.
That's awesome.
And Chima invited him to come out to China, so I may be doing stuff with OVW in the future.
So yeah.
He did a lot of stuff. He did that. He did a suicide dive into a Canadian destroyer.
What?
And there was another one out. Could have been cool, but it was botched. He was supposed to like jump off of the side of a trampoline and hit someone with the Poison Frankensteiner. You know the.
Wow.
But technically, he slipped off, so he just jumped back on and did the Poison Frankensteiner onto the grass on the outside. Then they had a lot of stuff with like people getting thrown into pools, like little
That's
kiddie
funny.
pools.
Vince
There was
McMahon
a-
would love that.
There was a point where Nick Cage was attacking this one guy
Mm-hmm.
by pulling down his pants and hitting his bare ass with light tubes.
Wow. But yeah, there's so many promotions, and we're not even talking about the super indie promotions. We have one here in Chalmette called Elevate Pro, and there's so many things we can only take
To be fair, it
two
could be
handfuls.
super indie, but it's easier to watch than PWG.
Yeah,
Because PWG is so hipster that they still only just do DVD sales.
not even Blu-ray.
I don't even think they have Blu-ray now. But that's the thing. It's like it happens. Like if you want to watch the best of the Super Junior, the best Battle for Los Angeles.
You have to buy
If
a
you're not-
DVD.
Yeah, if you're not there, you have to buy a DVD a few months from now.
Yeah, that's mental. But yeah,
Ooh, we've been thinking of that. There's also Battle for Los Angeles coming up
Mhm.
during SummerSlam. It's good
So-
that even though they moved the location, the name still works.
Mhm.
But let's hope that's better than the actual movie.
So here's the right. So here's the thing. Here is the thing. Let's
For those that don't know,
the biggest question. What are the top 10 promotions that we're probably going to cover the most of?
I want to say for those that don't know,
Mhm.
Escape from New York and then Escape from LA, the Joey Janela's promotion that he works with GCW. It was named after the John Carpenter movie Escape from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have a sequel, Escape from LA, which is why it still works
Mm-hmm.
there. But of course that movie was critically panned, so
Yeah.
hopefully his show's better.
And it's Joe Janela, probably will be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's grab at least 10, a couple, like a double
I'm
handful
still
of
expecting to
promotions.
see Superhuman at the clusterfuck. I'm gonna watch it this year too.
Superhuman. Yeah, that thing's happening too.
Yeah.
This summer, right?
Yeah, well that's at the Escape from LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does it at both of his shows. The Spring Break and then Escape from LA. He does the clusterfuck. It's like when Countdown goes and it's like, fuck this shit, and then he comes out. That's gonna be the biggest pop of the night, you know that.
Probably.
He's gonna come back from his groin tear injury.
He actually had a groin tear.
Oh, I think we talked about it last week, didn't we?
don't-
On the show? Yeah, he said he was gonna be out for a few weeks because of the groin tear.
Wow. But
Dude, I got word
yeah.
from him when he did that microwave spot that he looked knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a fault the Juggalos and the Juggalettes?
Whoop whoop. But yeah, I think obviously New Japan Pro Wrestling, because we have the subscription, WWE because we have the subscription, AEW we've definitely been covering a lot of. So what are a few more? And we have in the past done Impact pay-per-views. Hopefully the next one we will be. We've missed the last 2 or 3, so hopefully the next one we'll be able to see, because we don't follow Impact, so we never know when it's happening, and when it does, it's usually a day of decision.
Yeah, and there was just times where we knew beforehand, but it's like
Mhm.
we're gonna watch the Wrestle Kingdom. That
Yeah.
time.
Exactly.
So it's some bad luck for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's 3. Then
The Impact
Yeah.
equals 4 when we're able to.
4.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I get the subscription to All Japan Pro Wrestling TV, that could be something else.
Mhm. And then I do want to watch more. What do you call that? MLW,
Mhm.
especially leading up to their first pay-per-view. That would be really cool to see. And then you have like really great wrestlers down there too. And then yeah, just there's just a couple more as well. So that's 6 so far. So Stardom. I really want to. I don't know if they have a streaming service or if they
they
They do. I'd want to check out Stardom. I'll see if I'll.
Okay, I'm just saying, but you buy it.
Huh?
I'm just saying you buy it though.
Yeah.
Alright, got WWE New Japan and maybe get the All Japan.
Is DJ still
Oh
helping
yeah,
with one?
DJ and I do split the WWE, yeah, but
No. If I have to get another one, I know I wanted to do Ring of Honor, but
after that
I don't
show,
like their product.
Yeah, after the showing.
After the showing.
Super far,
Stardom and CMLL. More so than AAA, since I technically can already, because I have them on Twitch. But definitely CMLL.
Yeah, we just gotta look into that.
Because I really like Rouge. He's really stinking cool. Who's his brother? Bandito?
No, Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee. That's right.
And you don't like Dragon Lee too, so.
Yes. And Bandito, does he work for...
I know he does AAA stuff.
He does AAA stuff? Okay.
I don't know if he has an exclusive contract.
Because he's also been doing... I don't think it is, because he did Ring of Honor stuff, and he did do a New Japan wrestling.
Mexico to Japan. Mexico to America. Japan, it's always different.
Yeah.
Most of these guys have country exclusive contracts. Except for Lucha Brothers, they just have everything contract. I think you just have a contract with wrestling itself. I think you just get
Well,
any company.
America, they are under exclusive contracts for AEW. They can go anywhere else.
No, but up to this point, it was like wrestling contracts with everything.
Yeah. Man, I really would love to see them in New Japan. That would be awesome. And again, Noah and Dragon Gate, I would really like to check out their stuff because you have really good wrestlers there too.
Depending on their WWE's expansion into Japan, they already have somewhat of a partnership with Noah. So who knows? Maybe that ends up on a network. Do you think that they're gonna have like Evolve more full time on the network or Progress?
Only if it's a success. If they have the numbers that they want, probably for their pay-per-views, or maybe even their weekly stuff. If it's not a success and everyone does go to AEW, they'll probably be really petty and be like, nah, we're not doing that anymore. It was a failure. Well, I wonder why. You went up against a show for charity. But, yeah. But, I mean, drat. And we said WWE, but we didn't talk about their other 3 brands. 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK, which are technically their own brands.
They definitely look like their own brands.
They all have their own feel, completely. So yeah, there's so many. Stardom, CMLL for me, All Japan, New Japan for you, WWE for you and DJ. MLW is basically free. Impact is free, except for the pay-per-views. And so, what was the other 3? If it wasn't for the fact that you have to actually purchase a stinking DVD, I would love to see Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. But yeah, and I can't really think of 3 more that would.
Gonna open up a.
AEW, which will be technically free, unless they have a streaming service.
Gonna open up an even more hipster wrestling company. We only send out our pay-per-views on VHSs.
Or even more, 8-track.
Laserdisc.
But
AEW,
AEW, 100%. I know there's two more. Rev Pro have one?
The streaming service?
Yeah.
I don't know. Once again, I feel they probably have some stuff on the New Japan. Actually with New Japan, they should have at least shows that feature New Japan guys on there.
Yeah, I mean, same with CMLL, I believe,
Yeah.
as well.
And same with ROH as well.
Mm-hmm. And, Drat, we talked about it. We stinking talked about it, and they escaped my brain.
I would like to watch more of the GCW. Like
Okay.
I said, I'm gonna watch at least I'm gonna watch Escape from LA.
Mm-hmm. Get to purchase that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll after you watch it, I'll watch it and see all of it, and then one more. Quite honestly, I would really like to see the ups and downs match with Simon Miller, because I really like that dude. He's a great dude. Simon Miller is A class. I can't really think of anything else, which is kind of frustrating. Let's do, because why not, another all women's promotion like Shimmer or WoW. I don't know which one is regarded as the more work heavy.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Every while.
Any
There's
other
also
questions?
Beyond, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see most of the Orange Cassidy matches on. They used to be on wrestling, Orange
More
Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
Except like the Orange Cassidy.
And there's
PPV.
Pro Wrestling Circus, which a lot of its stuff is free on YouTube.
The next wrestling shirt I'm gonna get is the Orange Cassidy shirt. Along with the
I still
American
need more wrestling related items. I don't have it very much. I have our Smart Wrestling Alliance shirt, which I don't think is in rotation right now, and which means I think it's in the dirty clothes. And I have the WWE Raw shirt you bought me. That's all I have. I do need more.
Basically, 2 shirts I gave you.
Yes. But yeah, any other questions you can think of?
I don't know. I guess you gotta go shopping for you. Get you some more wrestling.
I guess so, Drag. I really thinking want the Kitty Terminator shirt. I want that one. I was about to buy the entire collection.
If I'm buying,
not gonna lie.
If I'm buying it for you, then I'm probably gonna get you Baron Corbin.
The Slow Wolf Pack.
No, not even that nice. It would be like just the real Baron Corbin shirt.
Well, I don't want the real Baron Corbin shirt. I want the full print, full
body print, Slow Wolf Pack.
Exactly. Steve, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a great shirt. Larson is correct. It's a great shirt.
I absolutely love it.
But I want the whole collection of the Elite. The Bugs, the Cat, Terminator, the Villain, the Nightmare, Wolf, and the what is his name? It's a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, the horse. I want all of them. Buckshot Lariat. Alright, I guess that's what I don't have any other questions, but I do need
What
more
other
wrestling merch.
What other wrestling merch you want to get?
I want a Brian Kendrick shirt, but I don't think he actually has real merch.
All the New Japan teddy bears.
I want us to actually get ourselves a proper belt, because that would be awesome. But yeah. And I want a couple beanies. I do want a couple beanies, because I like wearing beanies in the winter. And if you don't believe me, you can check out all of our winter catalog episodes of whatever we did. Usually have a beanie on. I'm pretty sure I had a beanie on when we were watching, what was that show again? Wrestle Kingdom?
But we didn't.
We didn't live stream it, but I think I was wearing one. But yeah, that's the show.
That was the day after you were dressed as Jay.
Yeah. No, I did not wear a beanie the first night. That's right. I wore it as J, and I think I wore it the day after.
You wear the Power Ranger one the day after, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We again apologize about our technical difficulties. I'm bloody losing my mind. Midway through the show, everything we talked about. Leave us a comment down below to let us know your thoughts on everything. Then go and give us all of those sexy likes.
And the unsexy ones.
After you do that, do not forget to go and take this video and share it to all of your friends.
And enemies.
Well, after you do all those things, you might as well please subscribe to the channel, and that way you are part of the Smarky family. After you do that, don't forget to ring the notification bell because
You want to get notified for when we go live for our podcast stream with the Smarky family.
that's this show.
Or when we go live for pay-per-view events inside or outside the WWE, and just when we post any type of videos, news, polls, anything like that.
Yeah, a lot of times because we have been having a weird schedule this summer, we've been doing a lot of watching shows while we're doing our podcast. However, we will be doing a live stream next week for Extreme Rules. Should be interesting, to say the least. While we're doing the podcast, we'll probably be watching Fight for the Fallen. Or at least I would probably be watching Fight for the Fallen. We're excited about that. We probably will check out Evolve just to see what they're about, what they're like. There's a lot of good NXT matches there. Kira Tozawa versus your champion, Adam Cole, baby. That should be an interesting match right there. Yeah, and then after you do everything on the channel, you gotta go to our social media pages on Twitter and follow us there. That's where we do a lot more stuff. We usually just like and do little bitty comments every other day or something. We're not really active on there, but if you follow us more, we might be. And in order to do that, follow me on Twitter at IsaJ_STP.
Follow me on Twitter at Liam_SWA.
Go to our channels tab on YouTube and follow Skeleton Productions and the Sports Enthusiast League as well. And enjoy all of the content we are making for you guys. And heck, go to the Patreon as well if you want to help support us, so that way we can start doing this, at least for me, more full-time and them more part-time. And by them I mean Liam here and DJ, so that way we can get paid for it, because we obviously will be giving you guys bonus stuff, potentially a shirt, or obviously shout outs and stuff. But you have to go to the Patreon page, and that's Patreon.com/Skeleton Productions. Yeah, thanks again, you guys, so much for watching, and until next time, it will be awesome. Later, everybody.
Bye, everybody.